Hi guys, I'm now back home from the Amsterdam Aviation Fair. Some of you have possibly seen my live report from the show floor, and I'm going to post that video in the upper right hand corner so that those of you that missed it can watch it. In this video, I'm going to give a specialized tour of the models. So if you're a model collector like me and you'd like to see the models that were on offer in some closer detail, this is the video for you. Now, please don't send me an email asking, is this model available and is that model available? You really need to attend these shows to purchase the models yourself. But at least this can give you a temptation. It can whet your appetite so that you might want to decide to attend next year's Amsterdam Aviation Fair. In all cases where I know who the sellers are, I will mention them by name and assume that many of the good models have been sold. So I hope you enjoy the video. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Start off this video with the table of Patrick van Roisin. He was one of the fellows who organized the show. He's a big model collector. So as we can see here, the highlight on this particular shot has to be the massive, I think it's 1/50th scale Fokker 50. It's a factory model with see-through windows, very nice. Other models, of course, include this beautiful airlift Dc850. It's a 1/72nd fiberglass model. I believe it was made by Westway. The model did sell at the show. Here's another image of that same model. So it's probably at least 20, 30 years old. In the background, we have some nice DC-10s and an Aer Lingus A330 model. Patrick also had some nice Russian airplanes. We have this, this is a Avex Sport 1/100 scale Aeroflot Tu-154. I believe they're one-piece plastic models, and they do show up from time to time. They're very nice. And this is a Antonov 74, I should say, factory model. Very nice piece that was on for sale. And this here is a Fairchild Air UK metal F-27, 1/72nd scale, very nice piece. I believe this model did sell. And here we have, I think it's Algerian Air Force F-27. This might be a resin model. Of course, it is Fairchild. And Patrick was selling models for another collector friend of his, and this is a huge 1/50th metal, late 1950s West Coast F-27 Fairchild model, looking absolutely beautiful. And equally impressing is this ideal cement corporate F-27 and 1/50th metal by Fairchild. And notice the detail of the airbrushed cockpit windows. It's just beautiful, beautiful work. Patrick also had some large floor models for sale, including this beautiful Vogelaar 1/50th Varig 707. There's a Lufthansa and Aeroflot Airbus. I know the 707 model did sell. I believe the price was well north of €1,000. Also on Patrick's table, he had these ALM F-27s in metal, DC-9 1/72nd Fairchild, the F-27. There's an MSA metal F-27. As I said, these models were being sold by Patrick on behalf of another collector. And this is a close-up view of the ALM DC-9 1/72nd metal. I never did learn the price of this model, so but I know it did sell quickly before I could get the price. Here we have a 1/72nd metal Fairchild Malaysia Singapore F-27. One of the consignment sales that Patrick was running. It did sell, very nice model. I believe it sold actually, but it's a gorgeous looking piece. And here we have a Ghana Air Force F-28. I think this was a metal Fairchild model. Might have been resin, but I'm gonna go with metal. Looks good. And also he had this, this is another shot of the, I believe it's the Algerian Air Force F-27. And it is a metal model, Fairchild 1/72nd scale. And what a piece this is. This is a Fairchild 228. It's a metal model, it was a model of a type that never did fly. It was basically a re-engined F-28. This is a super special model. I know it was well over €2,000. I'm not sure if the model sold or not. Here's another nice picture of the ideal cement. F-27, 150th Fairchild model, in really nice shape, again with the beautiful treatment on the windows. Those are actually painted windows, so really nice. And here's another side profile of the West Coast F-27 Fairchild in metal, 150th scale. Most of these models that we're seeing here right now are on for sale by consignment, and Patrick was running the sale for a friend of his. And another view of the two ALM beauties, the 172nd DC9 and the 172nd F-27 model, both in metal. And here we have another view of Patrick's large 4 models, including the, there's a Avex 707 in metal, and there's the 2 Cutaway models. So beautiful stuff, as always, from Patrick. And here's a close-up view of the Aeroflot TU-154 Avia Export 1/100th plastic model, and I'm quite confident this model did sell. So there you go, some real beautiful models from Patrick. Wow, congratulations. Well, I'm not sure who the seller of these models were. It was just a table at the show, but we can see the UTA French-made DC-10, a couple of large KLM aircraft on the far edges, and there's a Garuda 747 and 1/200th scale as well. Don't know the prices, and I'm not sure if the model's sold. But on Sergio's table, he had this beautiful 150th ALM DC9 model. It's a Westway model that was actually put together by Ben Godwington. He did an absolutely beautiful job. I believe the model did sell. And here we move over to the tables of Ed Van Roisin. The Van Roisins are a model family. Both brothers, Ed and Patrick, are very keen collectors. And Ed had an absolutely beautiful display, which I'm going to share with you right now. Here are some of his more recent models that he had on stands. These are quite inexpensive. I believe they're in the 100 to 150 euro range, maybe even cheaper. Some of these large Alupa type models. And here's another view of some of Ed's models, a good mixture of models. We've got old models, new models, lots of Fokker models, of course, Fairchilds, and Alupa IMC models. Terrific selection. As you can see here, for those of you looking for F-27s, F-100s, F-28s, how could you not find a model that you would like on Ed's table? Just terrific, terrific selection. Prices are very fair, and of course, if you come to the show, you can pick these models out, as to your liking. So save on postage costs. So you really do need to make the effort to come to one of these shows. Again, these are the models of Ed Van Roisin, and he just had an absolutely superb display. So carrying on with our tour, these models were offered by a gentleman from France. I do know him by face. He's a very nice fellow, but unfortunately I can't remember his name. I have bought models from him in the past. He always brings a very nice eclectic collection. The Airbus in the background, I think it was maybe 100 euros. Something like that. He had some ID models as well, C46, can't remember the price, and as well as some other antique models, and I think there's a Raise Up, he has a Raise Up Connie, was that an F-27? There's your French-made DC-8s. He had several DC-8 models, and you can see the Air Freak, DC and the UTA DC-10. I think they were all around 80 to 120 euro price range. Some of the models sold. Different seller had this model, also made in France, Air Freak DC863, in pretty good condition. I believe the price on this model was 125 euros. I don't remember who the seller was, but here we have an absolutely gorgeous original 1950s metal 150th Westway RAF Comet model. It was 1,500 euros, and I do know that the model sold, and what a beautiful piece it was indeed. Here we have a large 150th scale 747 KLM model, 747, and there was another one also in a similar livery. They were custom-made models. I believe they were done by Ben Godwington, and I think at least one of the two models sold. And here we have the table of Richard. Richard is a good friend of Ed Van Roisin's. This is a Fairchild Dc850 and 1/100 scale. Most of his models are priced, and you can see the prices down below. This is a beautiful raise-up Connie in metal, and again, prices are visible. Richard sold a good number of his models, and he has always a beautiful selection of models on hand from Richard. And this is a Douglas factory model of a 1/72nd DC7, and it was beautifully refinished. I believe Fairchild actually did the refinishing work on this model probably 30 odd years ago, and this is a information screen or photo that was made to explain the model, and Patrick was accepting offers on the model. I'm not sure if it's sold or not. I should say Richard was accepting offers on the model. Here's a wooden model, KLM period model from the early 1950s. I think it was 1/72nd scale. It was made by Henk Moderman, and he was one of the original model makers from the Netherlands. And this is a beautiful Fairchild Alea Royal Jordanian 1/50th scale F27 by Fairchild. An absolutely beautiful, beautiful mint condition. Look at it. It is a stunner. I do not believe this model sold, but yeah, look at that. Isn't that so gorgeous? We are lucky in this show as we had a huge selection of Fairchild models, as you can see from the previous images as well. So we're still at the tables of Richard, which is the friend of Ed Van Roisin, and he had this beautiful resin Fairchild DC-10 and Martinair livery in 1/100 scale. There was a few of these models at the show actually, but even though they're resin, I really do love them. And this is a 1/72nd metal KLM Lockheed Electra raise up in pretty good condition. Again, there were several of these at the show at different price points and different conditions. So you had your choice of raise up Electras at this show. So if you're looking for one of these, you could have found one. This is a nice, I'm going to say it's a Nomoto model. It's a Nomoto style model. It's made of wood. It's 1/72nd scale. It's very beautifully done. I think the price was around 300 euros. It didn't have Nomoto's name on the underside. This is a Westway model. I believe it's quite a large model. It's about a foot long. It's metal. Beautiful condition. I think it's been repainted into the Dutch Air Force livery. And how much was that? I'm thinking it was in the 300 to 400 euro range, something like that. But what a beautiful piece it is for sure. Now we move over to Ed's table, Ed Van Roisin again, and we can see just another close-up of the various models that he had. Lots of F28s and F100s and F27s in various sizes and liveries. Again, prices are reasonable for those of you that want to make the effort to attend the show. And here's again another view of one of Ed's bookshelves that had models on them of various sizes. King Air. There's a Air Canada proposal model of the Fokker 100. I think that was 275 euros, if my memory serves correct. And here is another beautiful selection of the F100s and F27s by Fairchild and IMC on Ed's tables. Most of the models are priced, so you can see what Ed was asking. And look at the Quebec Air F-100. That's a gorgeous model. And here's some more of the specialty models that Ed had on offer. I believe the Jetstar, the Lockheed Jetstar in the back sold. And we have, again, another raise-up KLM Lockheed Electra. And carrying on, we can see more of the models that Ed had. The metallic Fairchild F27 without markings, Ed sold that model, I know, because I spoke to the person who bought it, and he was a very, very happy camper. Look at the CL44 there, that's nice as well. Also, Ed recently bought these CASA models. They're IMC Fairchild productions in various various military liveries. Quite reasonably priced. I think they were in the 150 euro range each. So there you go, some nice CASA models. Here's another view of them. I think there's Royal Saudi Air Force, well, two different liveries of Saudi Air Force. There's a camo scheme and the white scheme as well. And as you can see behind them, there's the other CASA. I'm not sure of my CASA models, but they're different, definitely nice. Okay, and here we have yet another 1/72nd scale raise-up Lockheed Electra. Don't know the name of the fellow who was selling this particular model, but it's a beautiful piece. It's in really nice condition. So, as I said, there were a number of these beauties on offer at the show. This is a smaller scale Fairchild. I believe it's made of plastic, and it's approximately 1/44th scale. And it was not very expensive. I think it was maybe around 30 or 50 or 60 euros. Not sure who bought the model, but you do see these from time to time. And in the same theme, here we have also another. I believe these are made by Fairchild. This is resin or fiberglass, and it's about a 1/44th or 1/200th scale Lufthansa A310 model, looking really beautiful. And here we have beautiful models on the table of Gus Kieft or Klieft. Gus is a longtime collector, Dutch collector, retired KLM pilot. And we have a beautiful, just beautiful DC-8 1/72nd scale. And he also had the 1/50th DC-850 Cutaway as well. Just absolutely beautiful. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the 1/50th Cutaway DC-850 was priced just under 3,000 euros. And given that there's only 2 or 3 of these known to exist, I think it's a very fair price. A gentleman from France brought an extremely impressive collection of models to offer at the show. The highlight including this massive 1/50th World Airways DC-863 Pacific Miniatures model. I think he was asking 1,200 euros for it. Now, I don't recall his name, but if you watch my video that I filmed from the show floor, I picked up his business card and I held it close to the camera so that it showed his name and contact information. So if you check out my video from the show floor, scroll to this particular section, you'll be able to learn his contact details. One of my very favorite models that he had was this beautiful survey aircraft, the -7 for French survey company. It's huge. I'm going to say it's 1/25th scale. Absolutely immaculate. I think his price was 750 or 800 euros. For me, getting it home would have been very, very difficult. Now, this is a very bad model. No pun intended. It is the bad jet made by East Germany. And these are very, very rare. I believe his price was 750 euros on this bad model. So it's gorgeous, but it is bad. No pun intended. So also on his table, he had a number of various Airbus models, a large selection of Airbus models and models from French companies and French airlines. But his models weren't priced, so you did have to ask him for pricing on every single model. Therefore, I really don't know. This is also one of his models. I think it's a 1/50th Space Models or Westway Models, Northwest Airlines Saab 340. Very nice model, but again, I do not know the price just because he didn't price his models. So anyhow, here I am savoring that beautiful -7 to give you an impression of the size. For me, yeah, as I say, it was one of his nicer models. I would have preferred the -7 not to have the Mad Boom on the tail. I would have preferred a pure -7, but whoever made this model did an absolutely stunning job. It needs a few repairs. The tail was cracked and needed to be re-glued. And what else? I think one of the props, or some of the props have been thrown off the spinners, so have to be repaired there. But I really, really did like this model. If I could have got the model back home easily, I might have been tempted to buy it. But also, as I say, just the fact that it's a highly modified -7, the size, the stars didn't just align perfectly for me to pursue this model for my collection. So I don't think he sold the model. I think he still has it. He did say it was a one-off custom-made model, and he acquired it from an auction, I guess. And there you go, just absolutely stunning piece. And yeah, unique for sure. And carrying on with our tour, a fellow by the name of Smith, I don't know his first name, had a number of models on his table. I don't recall if he sold any. None of his models were priced that I recall. So Unfortunately, I can't share pricing information with you. I don't know where he is from, and I don't know the story or the nature of any of his models, but at least you can see what he had here. Most are 1/100th scale. They're quite nicely done. Various sources. I think the Air France actually maybe did have a price, and the Ryanair. Some of his models did have prices, or maybe this isn't his table. Honestly, can't remember. So these are just maybe some random pictures. This is a metal ID model that I picked up. I literally picked it up. I didn't purchase it. The gentleman from France who had the DC8 models earlier and the Air France Airbus model, he had this model. So here's another picture of the BAD, the East German BAD model. This is, of course, made by BAD in East Germany in the 1950s, and very, very rare piece for sure. And now we move to the beautiful models and table of Guido Potters. Guido collected display models and then decided to give up his collection, so he brought most of them to the show that you can see here. I did purchase a number of models, about half a dozen models from Guido. I really liked his stuff, actually. And I know, I'd say the vast majority of these models ended up getting sold at the show, so congratulations, Guido. Beautiful Martinair. We can see, what is it? We've got a metal Argentine Air Force F27 and an F28. We've got Empire F28, DAT F28, Air Zimbabwe. Never actually operated the F28, but the model did appear there, as you can see. And we have, which I was looking for, and I did purchase one of these, we have two Fairchild resin Noratlas models. I purchased the one with the day glow details on the tails and wings. So I finally got one of these models, although it is in resin, and they were expensive. I think they were around 200 plus euros each. And here is an absolutely stunning model. This is a, I guess it would be a World War II era German Luftwaffe Focke-Wulf, a 200 model, transport model, made in metal. I don't recall the price. I'm going to guess it was at least in the several €100 range. Very, very, very nice model for the collector of pre-war and during war display models. And here we have a P80 Shooting Star, €100. This was on the table of Richard, the friend of Ed. As you can see, needs to be painted. And here is another nice shot of Patrick's. No, this doesn't belong to Patrick. This belongs to Richard. It's his 1/72nd raise up Electra model, €400. The price was pretty good because the other side of the aircraft needed to be quite significantly restored. And this model here I've been looking at for several years now. It is a Westway Hunter made of metal. It's about 1 foot long. It belongs to Richard, and he's had it at the shows, you know, going back, as I say, 3 or 4 years. I'd like to get the model. I believe it's close to €400. So it's a nice piece, and I just haven't brought myself to purchase it. So maybe next year, you never know. And there's Richard himself standing in the upper left-hand corner with his table. He also had, several tables, and one of his tables had older model, World War II and prior models on it, which you can see here. Good various selection of models. And I just wanted to end the video with a nice detailed picture of this Dc850 Cutaway. It's in the cargo configuration. It's a Fairchild metal model on gear. As I say, we only know of two or three of these in existence. And the price of €2,700 that Gus is asking for the model, I believe to be very fair given the rarity of the model. And he also had the KLM DC863 in the background, 1/72nd scale. That is for sale as well. So all I need to do is win a few lotteries and I can buy some more models next time. If you enjoyed my video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the Jetflix TV channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. Are you a die-hard av geek who loves aviation videos? Welcome to Jetflix TV, where all the aviation action is. Stream and download hundreds of aircraft action videos on all your favorite devices. Sit back, relax, and start enjoying the best in aviation action movies exclusively from the crew at Jetflix TV. We will see you rampside.